Welcome to another edition of Resilient Living Podcast, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. My name is Adrian Babashoff, and this is episode 34, and it's Hybridization Philosophy. And I'm really excited about this one because I think that the hybridization of everything has been my life. There's a lot of things that I like, certain aspects of the array of philosophies and ways of living, lifestyle designs, money, everything. And I look and I don't adhere to every single part of every single thing, but there are things that attract me. And what I've literally done is I've extracted the best of the best, and put them into my life, and I've hybridized them. For those of you who don't know what hybridization is, it's like, let's just say you had a tomato and you had a beautiful pink with red striped tomato and you just thought it looked beautiful, but it didn't really have that great of a taste. And then you had another tomato that was really meaty and very juicy and sweet. Well, you would take the two flowers of those and you would stick them, you would cross-pollinate them, and what you'd get is a hybrid tomato that has beautiful color. It'd be somewhere between the two, right? You just took the best attributes and you keep breeding. We do this with animals. I think it's even been done with human beings, right? Some people have just really good genetics. And I think it's essential for our survival, especially in these hard times. And there's a lot of things that may be coming our way that I'm very fearful of. But what are the tactics and what are the ways to survive these things? And I think in business, in health, in your sanity, and all that is to hybridize everything. So get down to the hybridization philosophy, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Let's start off, I guess, what may excite people is money. I've taken my business, and I'm in the construction business. I own my own business, and I'm in sales. I do everything, really. I wear all the hats. So I've hybridized myself to be a mutant, a bunch of minions of me. But what I did is I would go sit down in jobs like these walkthroughs and stuff like that, and I had to bid against other contractors. And one thing I noticed is that a lot of people, a lot of contractors, and I could see this going on with everything in life, right? The problem that we have, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, is that people are compartmentalized and they're not thinking outside the box a lot. We all want things streamlined and very, very easy. Right? Things, and we want to look professional. We're more after the aesthetics than actually the functionality. And what I mean by that, aesthetics before the functionality, is a lot of these other contractors, I'd sit and I'd listen to them. And they'd present their case that they're certified by a certain company, and that's the product. You know, this company's going to back them, and they've got all their products, everything, professionalized and organized from this one place. And a lot of them would actually be from the same company using the exact same products, or they'd be using the exact same products. It's just private labeled, as most people don't know. And I would explain this to my clients. So they're all giving you a pitch, but it's pretty much the same pitch. So they didn't really ever stand out from the herd. Then you get a hybridized guy like me who comes out and says, well, I'm going to take this certain product from this manufacturer because I like it. Here's why I don't like the other product. It's failed 3 times and it's been published, in papers. And I don't really trust it, or we're going to go on game 4 here, when this stuff fails on your situation here, your home or your apartment buildings or whatnot. So here I am coming with a complete different hybridization of philosophy of grabbing all these different products and sitting down with my clients and explaining to them why my stuff's better, basically. That's what it is. It's a cutthroat situation. It's a bunch of wolves attacking, looking to hunt some gazelle, and I guarantee you I'm going to get the gazelle first. So by utilizing this hybridization philosophy, I've made a lot of money. Now, I think for businesses to sustain themselves, I think that's what we'll have in the retail market, which is happening right now. And I think a lot of different, in the restaurant, everything. What we have is we have online shopping, right? So what we have is people like Target, organizations like Target, which they're doing curbside pickup. So look, you don't want to come into our store? That's great. And you want the stuff now? You don't want it to come from Amazon, a day or 2, 3, 4 days later? No worries. Come on over to the store. Tell us what you want. There's a parking spot for you that's been allotted, and you give us a text when we get there, or when you get there, rather, and we'll bring the product to you. And you get it lickety split like that. This is hybridized philosophy. This is hybridization thinking. So they're doing online. They're not going against what Amazon's doing. So a lot of retail companies are selling stuff online. They're selling stuff through the parking lot. Even grocery stores are doing this. For those of you who don't know, I have a special needs daughter, and she's being taken care of by my ex-wife right now, so I can come here to my farm and do my work right now. I'm on my mini retirement, by the way, but which means I only work about 8 to 9 months out of the year, and I take 3 to 4 off, and I'm just really jazzed about this. But anyways, not to spur off here, she goes to the grocery store. She orders all her stuff online or on phone. I don't really know. But when she gets there, they just bring boxes and they load it up in her car, and she drives away. She pays them. So this is the way for businesses, I think, to survive. And I also think for employment. I think a lot of people, as I said, opened up with the contractors being compartmentalized. If you're able to hybridize, right? Let me try to think here. Thing that comes to mind is my ex-wife, my children's mother, is a bartender, and she's looking for help, for what she's doing. And I don't think she really followed my advice too much, though. But she's done a lot. She's done really good. One of the things I wanted to suggest to her is to hybridize her experience with food. She does food and drinks and things like that. But to really get down and to understand professionally about all the food, how the food systems and everything works in the restaurant, the drinks and all those type of things, and to invent and cross-pollinate things, right? Food infusions is the way I look at it. If you can introduce something new to your clients, people will find a really nice restaurant, and they'll come and they'll eat pretty much like I do, the same thing. But every once in a while, if you offer something, a hybridization, a food fusion, say like Asian Mexican food, right? You did something very strange and it tasted really well. That's actually going to create some excitement for your restaurant. If you did the same thing with drinks, I mean, what do they got? Like bacon martinis and things like that, weird stuff. These are the type of things that the ways of survival, I think, that you're going to get ahead, whether you're working for somebody a 9 to 5 or not. So when I look at construction, I'm able to do a lot. I've done a lot of stuff my whole entire life, minus electrical work. That electrical work creeps me out. But when I look at laying plywood down, having to cut sheets into valleyways and hips and square vents and pipes and things like that, that opens my door to do drywall. It opens up to do siding on a house. So what I'm basically saying is to get out of compartmentalization and specialization into diversifying yourself into a myriad of different things to stay afloat. Because you see, folks, I've been shouting out this warning for a long time, and I think that we have some really bad times coming. I don't know when, and I don't know what it is. I know there's a lot of people talking about that kind of stuff, claiming that they know, and I think they're going to look pretty stupid if it takes a turn and does something completely different. But this market is way overvalued. And I think that, in my opinion only, again, this is only just one person's opinion, is that it's got to correct itself. It always does. The bull market, has to crash, and then they just need a reason for it. But as these things start to turn, wouldn't it be nice to be diversified and be able to move yourself around into different aspects and different arenas of money and things like that? And it's not all about just jobs, money, and things like that. It's about, like, what I do is I hybridize. I live in a tiny house. I live stationary RV style, and being where I'm at right now is on somebody else's property, and I'm growing a lot of my own food. So these are the type of things, the ways of thinking that you should apply it to everything. Apply it. Listen to this philosophy and think, how could this work in my life? And I think that, as I said, for survival, I think it's about time that we start thinking this way and start implementing and practicing these things. Because in my opinion, everything's like a muscle. Once you start to practice hybridization of everything, grabbing the best of the best, it just becomes effortless. You become like a bodybuilder, right? Like an elite athlete. You're able to do these things relatively simple. So lessons from nature I have on here is like the breeding the dormant seeds of like the wild tobacco plant, and there's many other ones I can't think off the top of my head right now, who actually need fire. They need the soil. The forest and the hills to actually burn. They'll wait, especially here in the Mediterranean climate in Southern California where I live. There's a lot of seeds that they'll sit there for years, like I guess decades. And once that fire comes, they all start sprouting up. And we have these all over, I think, in the world, which has taught us it teaches us a lesson that we've had fires continuously, off and on, for since the earth was since existence. Why would we have these seeds that are waiting in the soil that have been burnt so many times, experienced so many fires that they literally adapted, right? They've hybridized themselves to depend on the fires. Now, the reason why they have done this, I have no idea. But the fact of the matter that it's there, and that new plants and new things will actually come to fruition because of a fire. And because of a fire, sometimes we get this thing called biochar, which is the charcoal left over when a forest or a hillside burns down. It actually replenishes the soil. It actually wipes things out in a way, not 100%, but it actually remineralizes the soil for new things to come. And when I look at this is a hybridization philosophy of having something catastrophic as a fire like that. But look at all the things that have happened because of that fire. Now new plants could be born, whereas these old ones would probably die off, and maybe their species got weakened. Their DNA was weak. But yet these strong ones, it will take years for the forest to regenerate itself. But the ones that survive will be the strong ones. And what we'll have in a few years is a very beautiful, lush, strong forest. And thus maybe the cycle will start over again. So it's not a very pleasant thing, but not everything in life is pleasant. And that's where I look at if we hybridize our ideas on horrible things. So not horrible things, but catastrophic things, hard times, basically. So why is it? What happened when you had to get out of your comfort zone? What happened when you had to actually shift and pivot to do something different? Maybe you made more money. Maybe you got excited and you did something different. So it brought some excitement into your life and some joy instead of doing the same thing day in, day out. Maybe this turned your life for the better. I know a lot of us, probably every single one of us, had stories where something bad has happened in our lives. And we're like, well, because of that, that's who and why I am who I am. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Some things I'm like, well, it would have been nice to have a pillow when I fell out of the skyscraper, instead of grabbing onto trees and hitting the ground so hard. But it made me into who and what I am. And I think if we can take this and really apply this in our lives, especially if the hard times really do hit, in those times, I don't want to beat that one up too much, but utilizing this kind of thought form of, well, you know what, let's do the best that we can with what we have, and let's see how well we can make it out of here, and let's definitely utilize all of our tools and welcome change. So hybridize your thoughts, hybridize your spirituality. My 15 minutes is almost up, but take this philosophy into everything and everywhere that you go, and see how you could apply it to live a better life, to be happier, to be prosperous, and I don't know. Move from maybe surviving to thriving by realizing that, you know what, these things are going to happen. The only consistent thing in the world is that nothing is consistent. And things are always going to change. By design, they're meant to change. And in fact, it makes life a little bit more interesting, I think. So guys, that's the show. Hope you liked it. Down in the description below, you guys can find an email address, resilientlpodcast@gmail.com. You guys can message me direct. There's Resilient Living Podcasts on Instagram, and we're working on, I need subscribers and people and likes and comments and things like that. The biggest thing is I need reviews to get the show off the ground. But if we get enough people, then I'll open up a TikTok, maybe even a Facebook group site, and where we can talk and share a lot of ideas and things if you're interested in the subject matter that we talk about on the show. So guys, that's it. As I always say, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. And human up, my friends.